This is TVC News. I am Oluyemisi Dada. The top stories. North of Cameroon experienced relative calm from terrorists as chronic food crisis lingers. Ex-Congolese Army General jailed for breaching internal security. United Nations throws in the towel, backs Kenya's closing Dadaab refugee camps. The relative lull in attacks by Boko Haram in the north of Cameroon brings calm to a region battling with the threat of Islamic extremism and a chronic food crisis. And with the advent of this calm, residents are now calling for schools to be reopened.
We want the state to take steps to open the school so that our children can go back to school. We have already lost 3/4 of our students.
In handcraft, tourism, we've been feeling the effects of Boko Haram, and it has not been easy for craftsmen to produce items and sell them. So for now, we hope it will go.
Boko Haram terrorists have shot dead 18 women at a funeral in Nigeria's northeast. The insurgents rampaged through a village, setting houses on fire and shooting at random, according to eyewitnesses. The attack took place at about 5 p.m. local time or 1600 GMT on Thursday in the village of Kuda in Adamawa State. Resident Moses Kwak told Reuters news agency that the survivors waited until 3 hours after the attack and found 18 women dead, but some others were still missing. No official statement has been released on the number of people killed. Kuda is close to the Sambisa Forest, a vast colonial-era game reserve where Boko Haram hides in secluded camps to avoid the Nigerian military. The village was attacked by Boko Haram militants in February. Businessman Aliko Dangote has fulfilled his pledge to feed more than 30,000 internally displaced persons in Borno State during the month of Ramadan. Thousands of the IDPs are in temporary shelters across the city center of Maiduguri due to the insurgency in the northeast. TVC News' Oluyemisi Dada puts this report together from Maiduguri, the Borno State capital.
It is a giant step towards uplifting these less privileged in society, especially during the holy month of Ramadan. Many are happy to see Aliko Dangote's promise to feed IDPs during the Ramadan come to fruition in this camp called Bakassi. Zuwaira Yusuf represents the business mogul in this mission to Borno State.
Is fulfill Alhaji Aliko's promise that he made last month here, that he would feed the IDPs during the Ramadan season. And that's what we're here to do. The total that we're donating to Borno State is 106 trucks, which has enough product to feed about 30,000 families.
Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima is very appreciative of this humanitarian gesture, which he believes will help cushion the hardship on the people who find themselves in this unfortunate situation.
To the Dangote Foundation for their show of empathy and support to our people in these trying times.
Some of the beneficiaries of this humanitarian gesture show their appreciation as they receive food items.
I am happy. These things given to me will last me a month. I have 10 people as members of my family. Dangote and the governor, I thank you. I have never received such things before. I thank them abundantly. I have been in this camp for about a year now, and I have never seen this kind of thing.
It is hoped that this aid to thousands of displaced persons in the northeast will give them a sense of belonging and the determination to survive the insurgency, which is gradually being curtailed by the Nigerian security forces.
The National Economic Council has expressed support for the new flexible foreign exchange policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The council also considered decisions on the social investment programs of the government. State House correspondent Maria Olashende reports.
The 68th National Economic Council meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Key issues affecting the economy was up for discussion. The reports on the excess crude account and ECA proceeds were among such issues, and Council was also briefed on the appointment of forensic auditors to monitor ECA payments into the Federation accounts and the revenue-generating agencies. More light was shed on the murky aspects of the 90 billion naira budget support loan facility for states at a 9% interest rate. 5 states have so far completed the process for borrowing from the Presidential Budget Support Facility, and the funds borrowed are expected to be channeled towards payment of salaries and other pertinent emoluments.
It is just to make this available. It's not compulsory. It's not compulsory that you must take it. What is important here is, can people have access to a lifeline? You know the impact of the fall in crude oil price that had actually gotten to oil-producing country like Nigeria. What we are looking at is, what are the solutions? You must provide a lifeline for people to survive and then to move on.
Council also expressed support and approval for the flexible foreign exchange rate policy of the CBN.
And one is this flexible foreign exchange policy. And to make it a little bit more flexible right now, I think it's a welcome development. That's the opinion of almost everybody today who knows the advantages of having a flexible exchange policy.
Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment also made a presentation to Council on what has been done so far on the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
We have engaged the states through the NEC, through the National Economic Council, to ensure that we're working with them, because as you know, there are several things that go on at the state level. And this initiative was very well received by the governors today. And the idea is that we're going to be working very collaboratively, very closely, to make sure that we make life easier for our businesses and create the right enabling environment so that Nigeria will be seen as an attractive destination for people who want to do business.
To ensure high-level coordination of the social investment programs, a National Social Safety Net Coordination Office has been set up in the Presidency to coordinate and ensure a uniform reporting platform for monitoring and evaluation, as well as a sustainable bank-led payment system for the cash transfers. Maria Olashende, TVC News, Abuja.
Nigeria's House of Representatives says it is investigating alleged misconduct and attempted rape leveled against 3 of its members. House spokesman Abdulrazak Namdaz confirmed that the Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, is in receipt of a petition from the United States Ambassador to Nigeria, James Entwistle. It said the lower chamber will institute a probe into the allegations to ascertain its veracity.
We are in receipt of a letter from the Ambassador of the United States to Nigeria, where he alleged that there is a misconduct by some members of the National Assembly who attended the program. However, as a responsible parliament, the leadership has received this letter, as I said, and are doing their own part of investigation, and it remains an allegation. We have our own rules, we have our laws of the land. When investigations are concluded, and we will brief you further.
Organizers of a $5 million prize for former African leader, which aims to shine a spotlight on democracy and outstanding leadership prize, again failed to find a winner after no one met the criteria. He or she must have shown outstanding leadership in developing the countries and lifting people out of poverty. A researcher, Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Charles Dokubo, takes a critical look at the scenario.
Look at the African state itself, the nature of the African state itself, being conflictual and all that. Corruption that is endemic to most African states. Leadership has always been very difficult. It's the bane for African countries in the sense that most African leaders what we call sit-tight leadership and all that, those who like to change the goalposts when it comes to their turn to step down. And then as a result of that, how can you believe that those people that have been fighting to extend their term in office could also be elected? Furthermore, the other issues about democratization, transparency, and good governance. Where in Africa can you find such things happening? Where governors will just, do what exactly is stated by law. The rule of law becomes the only game in the country and all that. It's difficult to find, and I'm not surprised.
The United Nations has finally bowed to Kenya's firm stand on closing the Dada refugee camp, which has been home for more than 400,000 refugees, and pledged to seek funds to ensure the refugees are repatriated safely. This report is packaged by the United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR.
Kakuma Camp in Kenya. It's home to nearly 200,000 refugees. Most are from South Sudan. After civil strife broke out in December 2013, Kakuma's population nearly doubled. The camp has run out of space. So UNHCR and its partners are building a new site, Kalobie, based on greater cooperation between refugees and the community.
This is really a new way of working for UNHCR that does not simply provide what we used to call care and maintenance, which means day-to-day survival of the refugees, but we want to establish a more long-term sustainable model that can benefit both the refugees and the local community.
Against the backdrop of the intention to close Dadaab, this is a model the Kenyan government supports. Mr. Grandi met with a family who recently fled violence and hunger in South Sudan just last month.
So they are alone without any men.
He said lasting peace will be the first step to a long-term solution.
For the civilians, life continues to be very, very tough. And once peace is achieved, or a measure of peace, development will also be the big challenge in a country that has almost no infrastructure.
Kakuma is being held up as a way of encouraging opportunities in a very harsh environment. It also offers refugees a more reasonable life during their exile.
We have more stories for you after this break. Stay with us.